Enemy MOAB incoming.
Hey guys and girls, how you all doing? It's Double FTK, or Kirsty, as usual, with another gameplay commentary. We're just playing a little bit of ground war today, on the map Bootleg, a little bit of domination, as I'm sure you could see from that very long loading title screen. And this is actually an assault gameplay. I know, very strange, because I have had a couple of people ask me recently, so why is it, Kirsty, that you always post MOABs? And, you know, not that they're complaining, as they did say, but the reason that I generally post MOABs is I do prefer to play with specialists. I do really enjoy just running around shooting people. That's always been my thing. I've enjoyed lots of games in the past that just don't have kill streaks. So running around shooting people seems pretty familiar to me, and I really think it is entertaining for you guys as well. But if variety is what you guys want, variety is what you guys get. And I have been trying to bring you a little bit of variety. As you would have noticed, I did post a video from Mr. Todd Hudson yesterday, and if you haven't checked that out and dropped him a sub, then he might be a little bit crazy, or you might have actually missed the video, which in that case I do forgive you guys that have actually missed the video. So you can go and check that out. It will definitely be in the outro. Like I said, he's another very entertaining Aussie YouTuber, and if you enjoy my content, then I'm sure that you're going to enjoy his. Anyway, that is not what I'm going to talk about today. I actually have some quite serious issues that I really want to bring up with you guys. More so about my own personal life. And it has sort of been going on for a little bit, and I've put on a brave face really, and I haven't brought up much of this with you guys at all. And that doesn't really seem fair, considering you guys know me pretty well now, and I'm sure that a lot of you guys actually consider me to be a friend. And I feel like that with a lot of you guys too. And I do feel a bit dishonest, not letting you guys into exactly what's going on with my situation and my family in general. And I don't know if any of you guys have watched Serious Drama's video on the weekend. I'll be leaving a link to that in the description, because it's actually him who has really inspired me to sort of come clean and really discuss what has actually been going on. Just because he had a brilliant, frank commentary on the weekend where he really explained a lot of things about his personal sort of family life that he hasn't explained up until now. And he had been saying that he felt a little bit guilty about that, and I can definitely relate to that feeling myself. Which is a big reason why I did sort of want to go into this. So anyway, thanks for that Serious Drama for sort of giving me the inspiration to speak up, because I think it would be really useful for me to actually talk a bit more about this, because it is seriously bothering me, so to speak. So any of you guys who have watched my content for a while, you guys would know that I live with my boyfriend and his 2 children. And that's actually been the situation for quite a few years now. I've actually raised his kids pretty much since I become an adult, and it's one of the few ways that I sort of really know how to run my adult life. I've essentially been a mother to someone else's children for a very long time. So let's get into a bit of the situation why that is. My 2 boys, their mother wasn't exactly the best mother for a very, very long time, and she still isn't now. Let's say what was more important to her were drugs, drinking, men, friends, pretty much anything antisocial that wasn't actually useful to her kid. So she didn't have any custody. She pretty much had no visitation for years, because she decided that she had other things in her life which she preferred over her boys. So when I actually met my partner, he had full custody of both these children. So the entire time I've been part of that relationship, I've essentially been these boys' stepmother and only mother for a long time. So of course that does have a real tendency of messing up little boys when your own mother doesn't want you. So that's always meant that both the boys have had quite a lot of psychological issues and behavioural issues, anger issues, aggression, all of that sort of stuff. But we've always kept it really in check, just from, you know, constant support, constant being there, setting really clear boundaries, all that sort of stuff that you do when, you know, you want to raise your kids to be the best people that they can, so that they can have the happiest, most fulfilling lives. So pretty much all I've wanted over this entire time is what's best for them and for them to be happy. And all their own actual biological mothers wanted in this time is for herself to be happy. So pretty much in the meantime, she's gotten with another partner and she's gone off and had 2 kids. Well, she's stuck at home now with kids, and she's suddenly decided, years and years later, that she actually wants to have more contact and more rights with the 2 boys, which I'm not going to name by name, and that was really difficult to just not slip out, just because for their privacy and things like that. I really don't think it's fair. So she's pretty much come back into the situation, and she's not a good influence at all. Like I've said previously, she's into drugs and alcohol, and she's just not a responsible person at all. She said it herself, she wants time with her kids to be fun and only fun, and she's got no interest in actually setting any boundaries whatsoever. So the oldest child, he's turned 13 recently, and you can imagine, with puberty and everything, he's already become a little bit rebellious. And the youngest one, he's 11. In recent times, she's pretty much manipulated the youngest one into coming to live with her, and that actually happened 2 months ago. And I actually didn't tell you guys anything about this, just because it was really difficult to talk about, and just the whole situation was quite upsetting in general, and talking to a bunch of strangers about it just, I don't know, it just wasn't right at that certain sort of time, you know what I mean? So the youngest one went to go and live with her, and the whole reason for that was because the youngest one has always been a little bit iffy. He's always been quite uncontrollable. He's always been the one with the more significant problems, always wanted to be a smoker and wanted to be a bad boy, and pretty much he just aspires to be a bad boy. That's what he wants to do. He wants to steal cars and smoke and drink and do everything he shouldn't be doing, just because he's actually had the closest contact with his mother in the past. When they were actually younger, the mother booted out my partner and the oldest child and decided to keep the youngest child. So of course that means the youngest child has a bit more of a relationship with her, and also has a lot more of her influence from all of the negative things that she was doing when he was little. When we first got the youngest one, he'd come to us, and anytime he couldn't get his own way, he'd pull knives, he'd threaten to kill people. The only thing the kid would eat were cheeseburgers. The kid used to scream like a junkie for cheeseburgers. It was unreal. It was heartbreaking to watch this poor little boy being so badly messed up by an adult. So we spent the next 7 years pretty much getting him on track. Well, I wasn't there for the whole 7, let's just say that, but my boyfriend did, and other sort of support networks. So let's just say in this meantime, she's managed to completely manipulate the youngest one, convincing him that if he comes and lives with her, he can go off and do whatever he wants. Which is, he wants to smoke, he wants to wander the streets, he wants to be a big teenager. And he's always been like that. So the mother pretty much bribed him to come back and live with her by pretending that she'd buy him all these things, PlayStations and iPhones and all this stuff. And the other bribe was that she'd actually let him smoke cigarettes. Yes, the mother was actually giving an 11-year-old cigarettes. They've also given him alcohol, and they also let him drive the car. Yes, legal driving age in Australia is 18. 18, not 11. So, you know, you can pretty much get how irresponsible this woman is. So of course, after all this happened, the oldest brother got a little bit jealous that, hey, why is it that my younger brother gets to go out and do all these things that I can't do? Because, well, at our house, we expect them to be home at dark time. We don't let them wander the streets in the middle of the night like she does, because we want them to be safe. We know that the city at midnight on a Saturday night isn't the nicest place for sort of kids to be. And unfortunately, she's just got no control over the situation whatsoever. And she never has, because she's had no real influence on the kids. Well, in the last 2 weeks, around about that anyway, the oldest son has actually been spending a lot more time at her house. Since this has happened, he's actually been expelled from school, because she doesn't actually insist that they go to school. If they don't want to attend school, they're allowed to go and do whatever they want. So the oldest one's become completely uncontrollable. They've both been in trouble with the police. They both actually have child protective services involved now. And they're both pretty much at that uncontrollable point where the police and the child protection services have decided that they're almost a menace to the community. And this is really disappointing, because I've just seen the biggest change in my boys recently, especially the oldest one, who was always responsible, intelligent. To just watch this change in the last 3 weeks, and then to hear that he's going to live with her permanently, is pretty damn heartbreaking, because I've just been watching these boys change so much for the worse, honestly. That's all I've got time for today though, unfortunately, guys. I really hope I haven't bored you with all this personal stuff, but I did really need to get it out, so thanks so much for listening.
We transform garbage into art. We transform second-hand